All right, we're live. Good morning, everyone. We got Pickles in the house. Fedora, he should be here, I think, eventually. But special guest Southpaw Brad. I asked Southpaw Brad to come through today because he is, in a way, the inspiration and the inspiration for the show today. He sent me a very interesting new podcast that everyone's going to hate this show for, present company included.
Don't let him sugarcoat it. He cussed me in the chat and Instagram because I sent him a couple of videos. He was like, "Would you please stop sending me these damn videos?"
It was horrible.
He was it shook our foundations because of just people who maybe more diverse in their collecting direction, and sometimes that stuff hits close to home. So
or your pocket, or just your manhood, your ego, if you have one, or a little,
and unlearning years of
mm-hmm.
like that mindset, collecting mindset. It's like I can't. It's hard for me to watching that stuff. It just made me realize it's really difficult for me to shift gears. Unlearn what I've learned. What I've so.
Yeah, Jason, I apologize ahead of time for this show. You're really gonna hate me for this. I'm
no. I think he's probably more on track than either of us are in some regard.
Yeah. So before we get into the show, let's say what's up to the chat real quick. You had some early comers in here. Max Sin City. Where are my Skittles? I don't know where Marshawn's at, but hopefully we'll get some later. And Michael Baker, happy Super Bowl Sunday, everyone. Yes, happy Super Bowl Sunday. And I agree, the Monday after should be National Sick Day. I used to always say that, like when I was working in the office, like, why are we working today? It's just, this should be a national holiday.
Our work it is pretty much.
Oh yeah, I bet.
You can bank on at least like half the workforce not showing up tomorrow.
And that's probably a good idea with like planes being produced by you guys. I'm okay with that. Mojo Quid, yeah, PSA, dude. Like I'm Beckett all the way, dude. Like I don't know, I like to lose money. And then we got Michael Baker, Spidey Guy Murph. What's going on? Good morning, geeks. Go for it. Ugh. No, man.
Yeah, I can't.
That's several 49ers in the chat there.
I can't say that.
I can't do it, man. Seahawk fan for life. I used to be Niner fan when the Seahawks were in the AFC, but I can't do the Niner gain. I'm sorry, guys. But Comics and Tortillas, I will say this, and I've plugged you many times on the show, but I need to I owe you like a membership subscription because you saved me at least $30 so far this week, or this past couple weeks. Reason being is Comics and Tortillas. Check out his YouTube show. He has videos that show off like brand new comic books like the day of Wednesday, and so I'll just peek in there, see what I get, or see if I like want to pick up a book that at the LCS or wherever, and I'm kind of on the fence of one. I'll just read it on his YouTube channel, and it pays for itself. So thanks again, Comics Tortillas, for your videos. Evils, what's going on, man?
I just read Avengers Twilight on his his stream.
Yeah, it's badass, dude. It saves money.
Well, no, Friday night. Sorry. Only because I can't find it anywhere. Like it was completely sold out at all the LCSs, and like I'm not paying $30 for one book online right now. So
yeah, and you want to read it, right? It's not like you want to wait till
I didn't want it to like flip it or nothing. I just wanted to read the damn thing. So
yeah,
I went on there and read it.
Ryan Riley, what's going on, my friend? Good to see you in the chat. And man, another Go Niners. Oof. Sorry, guys.
It's not that like. The one thing I will say about the 49ers is like the only good thing that can come from the 49ers winning the Super Bowl is that Christian McCaffrey will actually get a ring, and he deserves one. But the rest of the Niners can piss off. Go take your Mr. Irrelevant and like pack it off somewhere else.
Yeah.
I just can't. As a Seahawk fan, I'm just like, sorry, you will never hear "Go Niners" from me. It's like I don't want the Chiefs really either, but I prefer the Chiefs over them.
Yeah. Brad, who are you going for in this Super Bowl, unwatchable Super Bowl 2024?
I'm I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm a Dolphins fan, so I don't really have a dog in the fight. But I do believe in to be the man, you got to beat the man. So until somebody beats the Chiefs, then I think they got to get the nod until somebody dethrones them.
Mm-hmm.
So
they
just find a way. I mean, their team. This is not the most talented team they've ever had, but they just find a way. They just keep finding a way.
Well, the thing is like it could be a complete slaughter in the other direction too. Like the Niners could completely destroy them because like that offensive line for Kansas City is so beat up right now that it's just like.
Are they?
Well, I mean, their number one O lineman has been out. He's out this game. He was out last game too. So I feel like they got to get their the running game established early, and they got to use Pacheco out of the freaking flats a little bit to kind of offset the pass rush because that pass rush for the Niners is just ridiculous after they added Chase Young.
Yeah, and some of their of their formations and motion too, like to kind of slow down the pass rush. They can do something interesting with their formations and motion just to kind of help. But I just want a good game. That's really all I care about. Good game at this point.
But I mean, that's like pretty much what you can get, especially with defenses, because I mean, the Seahawks weren't great defensively this year, but they still gave the Niners a run for their money pretty much for like both of the games that they did play them. Like they were scoring points, they were putting them up. So,
yeah. Oh, what's up, Kingdom Nerds? Thanks for coming through, man. You guys follow Kingdom of Nerds on YouTube. He's doing some good stuff with a good crew of people as well. So, it's always kind of funny with Super Bowl. It's like either you have a huge party. I remember like when the Seahawks were doing like really well the past those couple years and all that. Like it was like people are like different friend groups were having big parties, and so it was like this thing of like, who do I go to watch the Super Bowl? And then now that we're not Super Bowl bound every year, it's like nice not having stress watching the game. But I'd rather us Seahawks see chickens be in the Super Bowl, 100%. But what's up, Ricardo Nocazo? You guys follow him on whatnot, all that good stuff. Huh?
Seahawks did definitely do a good job restructure. I mean, I like the new look coaching staff. I'm not gonna lie. When Pete left, I was a little bit worried, but now that they pieced it together, I'm like, this could actually be interesting to watch next year.
Yeah, we got the sexy new hire, like young guns and all that stuff. So, I guess we'll see. Yeah.
Wait, no, Belichick. I forgot Belichick's kid went to the Huskies. I was about to say, Belichick's mullet, like on the sideline, but I'm like, no, wait, he's coaching UW.
Yeah, and then like the offensive coordinator from UW went to Alabama, and then now he's our Seahawk. That was fucking weird, man.
He just hopped from the the better deal to the bigger better deal. Like,
fuck it, yeah, cares, yeah, but that's football, man. That's like just sports in general too, but. Gotta go where the money is. What's up, Brad? Thanks for coming through. Pete, I am sad that Pete Carroll did get canned. I would have liked to see one more year, but I gotta also think like our front office is pretty smart. They're probably looking like what coaches could be available next year, and they're like, just get rid of him. He's gonna be forever loved in Seattle. He's not gonna buy a single drink in Seattle, so it's like might as well.
Well, like you were saying, I kind of hope they ride him out for one more year and go after Tomlin because his contract is up next year and he don't look too happy in Pittsburgh right now. So
yeah, he probably, dude, Mike Tomlin. Like I remember when he first started out as a coach, I was like, is that guy a player? or he's a coach? Like he's a big dude, man. But anyway,
hey, he's never had a winless season. Or I mean, he's never had a below 500 season out of and sometimes like the Steelers have just god awful teams too, and it's just like they're still managing to win.
Yeah, you wonder how. Yeah,
yeah, just coaching, man, the culture and all that stuff. Yeah. I saw this today. James Gunn confirms major update on Peacemaker season 2. I cannot wait for this show. The comic book, if you guys aren't reading it, is freaking hilarious. But yeah, just some news from CBR. And what was that, Jason?
He's doing a whole new dance intro for the season 2 as well, with like all the new characters that are added.
It's so funny, man. I think that show's awesome. And I was curious about this. I know I'll get into the slides in a little bit, but just want to do some new stuff here. So have you guys picked up this Moon Man #1?
No.
I saw it, and it's Kid Cudi is like the writer, which I think is kind of cool. You know, it's cool to see like one genre like float into another, but I just didn't pick it up because like other than Kid Cudi being like the writer, I just like don't really care. But I'm just curious. I don't know if anyone's talked about this book or read about it. I know it's been on a couple like CBSI, some top 10 lists and all that, but I was just curious if anyone has read it. It might just be like a shot in the dark for everyone, but I don't know. About 10 minutes into the show, cover at 100s. Okay, cool. I wonder, was it good? But yeah, just 10 minutes into the show on a Super Bowl Sunday. I want to thank all 13 of you peeps. We're up to 17 at one point for showing up, trying to get to that elusive 600 subscriber mark, and we can't do without your guys' support. And I want to thank Fedora. I want to thank Southpaw for coming through and inspiring our show today, and Pickles for just being you. Yeah, man, you're just an amazing person. I mean, you're just beautiful.
Such an inspiration.
Such an inspiration. But before I get into the show, I wanted to show off these. Brad sent me an email the other day, and just some factoids, I guess, like real data, that not just kind of pulling some stuff out of the air here, but you know, I've been thinking a lot about CGC submissions, right? And I think now, you know, just like F the grade, you know, I think you also got to look at the population of these comic books, and like with the cost of CGC, it seems like they're being a lot more stringent on grades as well. I may just look at stuff like to buy outright 9.8 based off these numbers that Brad sent me. So you got Amazing Fantasy 2004 #1. You got 988 on the census. That's quite a bit, in my opinion. They're double the amount of 9.6s and those elusive 9.0s there. And then this does not make me want to buy this book at all. 9.8, 7,215 for and here is the man Fedora. This was crazy too, man. Like, you got 7,000 9.8s of this book. There's no way I'm paying any money for this book anymore. I'd rather get the variant if I was specking on Moon Spider Moon, whatever her name is. A couple more here.
Silk.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, thanks,
like Moon, Spider
Moon something.
Like,
yeah.
Like where's your head at?
Yeah, I don't know.
Let me copyright Spider Moon real quick.
Yeah, exactly.
Before they come out with that new character.
Yeah. In the next video game.
It's like
Amazing Spider-Man 361. Look at that, 6,900.
That's insane, dude. That's
10,000. That's crazy. Numbers as well. Bloodstone #1, like that is actually less than I thought would be. So maybe the print run on this book isn't as big. Fedora, there you go. Bloodstone, your favorite book, Bloodstone #1 right there. And Brad, is this the ASM 300 like direct edition, right?
So there were some instances where they did not have a separate CGC census for the newsstand versus the direct.
Okay.
So I don't know if they included that separately or if it's in this number. I'm not sure. Some cases they had, on some books that I looked at, they had split them out. On some they did not.
Okay.
And then one of the other books on my list, which was New Mutants 98, they had none listed. So because I was really curious about that one with the movie coming up and stuff.
Oh, okay. I mean, all good data, man. I'm gonna keep. What's interesting about this one? There's only 1,895 in 9.8, which is, to me, like, that's not a big number for this book. I mean, everyone talks about, oh my god, like the print run was so big. Well, 9.8 seem to be pretty rare.
5,000 9.6s though.
Yeah, I know, 5,000 9.6s, and it's 6,000 9.4s.
It's not that people aren't trying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. NYX, I thought this was actually like an okay number for where it's selling out right now. We're gonna take a look at this book later in the slides. The all UF4. Actually, I'm shocked about this number. I would think there would be a lot more. Imagine how many of these were like resent in. I'm one of these that
got a lower
was resent in, by the way. What?
Said then to get a lower. It went from like a 9.8 to like a 9.6
to an 8.5
pile. Like,
yeah. Shout out Chungy for pressing that book for me. And then New Mutants 87. There's 9.9 out there. Wow, there's 2 signature series, which that's kind of cool.
Jeez.
That's fair on this book, COVID era, like kind of deal. But
and there again, like with so many variants, I think they all probably have their own CGC census. So you spread it out over variants, and that number's skewed a little bit.
Yeah. Savage Hulk 980 is the last one here. That's respectable. I know this book has dropped quite a bit in the past, year or so, just because of the show being canceled and all that. So, but yeah, really good stuff, man. I appreciate you sharing that with us. What's up, Manny? Gonna say what's up to the what Maxine City guy? The fact that Seahawks hired the defensive coach who dominated the 49ers offense. Yep. Yeah, I love it. It's hilarious. Fedora, what's going on, man? Where are you headed today?
I'm getting a Red Bull, bro. I just woke up.
All right. You just woke up. All right. So what are you going to feed yourself today? Is it pizza? We getting a bagel?
Come on, bro.
What are we doing today?
I just realized that you can flip the camera on the StreamYard app.
Oh, really? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So it's like this is the deli.
This is the deli. Where's the cat? Where the cat's at? Where the cat's at? Are there cats in the deli?
I don't think there's a cat in this deli. There's not a cat here. No cat. All right.
He's asking. There are no cats. No cats.
No receipt. I'm good, bro.
Ask him where the Playboys are, Fedora.
I'll tell you. They don't sell magazines in the delis anymore. Like,
dang! Y'all go get your magazines. What?
Yeah, that stopped a long time ago, bro. Like you were good. I think they stopped doing that. There's not even newsstands anymore, and like they don't really. There's maybe in the Times Square area that I've seen. There's maybe 3 newsstands that I see still open.
Crazy.
I don't even know if the other one that I'm used to seeing when I used to work at the coffee shop, there was one guy that had like a newsstand, and we used to let him use the bathroom in the coffee shop. He was cool. But I think that one is closed. So yeah, I know that in the subway stations, there's newsstands downstairs in the subway stations. Like I'm on 96th Street. So I know in our subway station, there's a coffee shop in the subway station. So if you're running to work, like you just go downstairs, go into the train, pay to get into the train, and then there's like a coffee shop.
I love that about New York, dude. When I go in the subways, and it's like a whole world of like Dunkin' Donuts and like bagels. They don't have anything like that in Seattle. Like it's New York's awesome.
Ferdy with his bagel and schmear. Is that what you called it before? They call it a smear.
You better stop right there. God damn it! I'm gonna drive over there. Driving over there right now.
There's definitely an H in there. It's schmear. Yeah.
My man said it. There magazines in the deli. That's crazy, bro.
That's crazy.
That's when I was a kid.
Yeah. This was my read of the week. The new Batman. I don't know if Dak's in the chat, but 142, man. This is a good jumping point. If you guys aren't reading Batman, it's pretty good.
That's been selling pretty well.
Dude, it was really good read. I read it twice. It was that good. And then we're gonna try and do a giveaway. So this is going for $35 on eBay. Last time I checked. I don't know if it is anymore, but I need 35 in the chat to give this away at the end. Otherwise, I'm gonna sell it on eBay. Anyway.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah. So Fedora, I was kind of alluding to the beginning of the show that Brad fucked us this week. Fucked up my head. No, he is the inspiration for the show today. And he sent me this link to a YouTube show. I'm just gonna, Brad, why don't we do this, man? Let's show the link that you sent me. let's just get this guy on point here.
I don't know what's going on.
We'll have to have him on sometime.
Is it somebody that calls themselves like Bird Nerd the Ferd or something like that?
Yeah, let's see.
Like, this guy is stealing my identity.
Bizarro Ferd.
Yeah, Bizarro Ferd, right? So this is his channel. I'm only gonna show a little bit of it because I don't know.
I'm Comic Tom 202.
Yeah.
So this is the guy.
What the heck?
And it's paying 4.4%. Now here's the kicker. What's the Fed going to be doing with interest rates over the next year? They're going to be raising them even more.
It's like,
Okay, I'm not gonna go into any more of it.
it's like you and Comic Tom combined. And I'm not even lying. Like he's got the excitement of Comic Tom, but he's kind of got the look of Ferd.
He's got your shirt on.
Yeah, y'all are wearing the same shirt
Yeah,
right
we're
now.
the same shirt.
Literally.
You know what?
You did it on- you
We're
did it
ending
on
the
purpose.
show.
Ferd.
You'll have a great weekend.
Go like this real quick.
No.
You did that on purpose.
So I was like, man, this guy gets like 16,000 subscribers. I've watched like 5 of his videos. The dude has there's nothing like digital about his shows. He literally just has a camera and talks. But this video from about a year ago, and if you watch Brad and I's show, it's Sunset to South, we were pretty much saying the same thing. This show is from March of 2023, I think, I want to say. And he basically alluded to the drop in comic books and the huge drop in comic books due to interest rates and all that. And he has kind of a time horizon of long-term investments in comics or collectibles for like 10 to 15 years. And a lot of the stuff I think is very correct. Now, you got to kind of take it with a grain of salt also. Like he's more of a sure thing. He's a blue chipper kind of investor. And I don't agree with all of this.
We don't blue chips over here. We about the black chips.
We about the black
chips. We bet it all, baby.
We like those square chips like in Casino Royale. You know what I mean? But it had me thinking too, and I've been doing this a lot lately, is like there's just some comic books that are not going to get back to the levels that I paid for them, or they're just not, they're never like either the character was canceled, or whether that be, they're just not going to write him in the future of the MCU, or, like Ironheart, there's a lot of questions about her, being brought up again in the MCU.
They just finished her show.
According to who?
They just finished her show just finished filming.
Okay, never mind. So like I just heard, I heard Bob Iger was talking about not going forward with it.
Oh, maybe they won't air it. I don't know. I read an article that said that they had just wrapped like filming on it.
Oh,
so
okay.
I was like, oh, they must be going forward. But like you said, I hadn't heard anything since Black Panther.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So I heard that like a month ago, but like it's just Bob Iger being Bob Iger. And Disney has the money to say, fuck it, cool that we finished up filming. We're not going to show it off because we didn't get enough views. So
or shelve it for now.
What's that?
Or shelve it for now until they can build more interest in the character.
Right. And like the other thing too, the argument I've ever heard, like, kind of arguing against like the long-term thing is like, well, this character is like going to come in 10 years. I'm like, okay, well, now I was telling me and Brad were kind of talking in the chat before, like, well, $200 today is not going to be worth the same in 10 years. It's going to be worth like 150 or 125 bucks. And so my point of the show today is to, just get rid of your stuff at these prices if you're okay with it. It's a gut punch, but let's be honest. Like, be honest with yourself and say, look, these books aren't going to go up as much in value. I bought way too high. I could still get some money for these books. Let's get them into books that may be on the dip or have like long-term potential for 5 to 6% per year, compounded over 10 years and all that good stuff. So anyway, this guy's name is Reserved. Wait. It's called Reserved Investments. And he's got good stuff, man. I kudos to him, but he definitely made me think about what I was investing in. And James, yes.
Tell him to come on the show.
Oh man, I wish, dude. Investment in a volatile collectibles recipe for bankruptcy. Yeah. In a volatile collectible for sure. It's gonna be a fun show. I'm just kidding. We got 20 live right now, 25 minutes into the show. We'll try and get you guys all ready for your Super Bowl Sunday shows, parties and all that. And yeah, if we get 35, I'll
Today's the
give away
Super
that
Bowl?
stupid back of the what?
Today's the Super Bowl.
I know you're joking, right? Are you joking?
No, I don't watch football.
Today is the Super Bowl.
That's
You are
crazy.
correct. Yeah.
It
So
doesn't feel like a Super Bowl Sunday. I don't know.
yeah, because it's the most unwatchable Super Bowl of all time. Fuck the Niners. Just kidding.
As everyone leaves,
as everyone fuck Ferd and Pickles.
Unsubscribe.
Unsubscribe. Put them on blast. Put them on CBSI Facebook group. Shout out to CBSI Facebook group.
Yo, that's the best Facebook group ever. If you want ultimate speculation, look no further. CBSI will save your dime, baby. Let's go, CBSI. Like they got some amazing news. If you want to speculate on 9.8 reptile number ones, that's where you want to go. If you want amazing advice about Hulk 180, there you go.
Yeah,
like,
and if you like a positive environment and not being called out, do not join the CBSI Facebook group.
Regardless of spec, whether it be unlegitimate or legitimate. I posted a legitimate spec a long time ago when Beneath the Trees, when nobody posted about it. I posted. I was like, did anyone get this? And then somebody was like, indie books suck now. And then, then
y'all know what happened.
Everybody wanted that. Yeah. And now everybody wanted to act like they posted about it.
We're going to start a comic book group called the Unalive Yourself comic book group on Facebook. And we're
comic book community.
The Unalive Yourself comic book community. And it's going to be hilarious.
You can just make little, like, rest in peace wanted posters. Or something like that. Like Old West shit and put them up. Be like.
Yes, exactly. My first set of books to sell. Does Ben C? I don't know, probably. I never had anything against Ben C, but he's always been nice to me. But that Facebook group is hilarious. So the first, and I have these books, by the way, everyone. And these are current market prices that these books are going for. So the whole purpose of the show is look at your collection, sell some of these books, whether it be for a loss or whatever, and then put it into some, a good kind of investment or product or what have you. What happened to the door? Okay. So I got Young Avengers number 1, 274. Last soul was 274 in 9.8. Century number 1, the SDCC variant for 175. And then Star Wars Jedi versus Sith number 1. Last 9.8 I saw sold for 200. You got $649. So before I go to the next slide to tell you what to or suggest to buy, Southpaw. Do you have any of these books, or have you ever wanted these books not for investment purposes?
I have the Young Avengers, and so does everybody else. A $1,200 book at one time.
I know.
That's that one's a little bit of a gut punch. I mean, it's interesting because they're coming to the MCU at some point. I mean, it looks you can see it happening, but I'm kind of at the point now where what difference does that make if you have artistic license to change characters, then what difference does it's probably not even this team. I mean, realistically, if you've got Riri and Scar or whatever they end up doing, it's probably not this team.
Yeah,
it's going to be America Chavez, which was like the second Young Avenger team, so it might be look more like that team. But it doesn't really matter that the MCU is bringing them if this book doesn't really matter. So that one's tough. And I like the Century. I mean, I've never read it because we've talked about how hard it is to even get the trades on that. But I like the character, and he's showing up. And God, what was that? I'm sure if you own it, that San Diego Comic-Con variant. What was the high on that?
It was like alongside the black version. At times it was like maybe $50 more, but at the highs before like the casting announcement, it was probably like $425, $400. I bought my raw copy for $100 and got it signed by Jay Lee at Emerald City. I think Jason was with me at that point. I don't know if he was, but yeah, I mean, it's not too bad.
The only year that we went was with Phil.
Oh yeah, Phil.
Or the one that I went.
Yeah. Jason, do you have the Young Avengers one, right?
Yeah, I bought a raw copy.
Okay.
And it came back at 9.6. So womp womp.
Womp womp. And Fedora, you were kind of my inspiration to get rid of my Star Wars #1 9.8. Star Wars Jedi versus Sith #1. One of my favorite Star Wars like reads, period. But Fedora, man, like you said, probably shouldn't spec on these coming to live action, correct?
If it's Dark Horse,
that's all you can say. That's all you need to say.
Yeah. Unless it's like super popular character, but even then, that's like a 50-50.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll just stick to that thesis. So you got $649 in your pocket. You're on eBay looking for stuff. This is what I suggest you should get with this. And yeah, some people can poo-poo on me and all that. I have a little bit of a heart for Gambit. He was my favorite X-Men character growing up. So I have that nostalgia going for me, right? But this book was like $1,000 last year. And, forget the casting, forget X-Men 97 coming up. Like, this is just like, I'd want this for like ever to look back. It reminds me of my childhood. I think it's, to take those 3 previous books and funnel that money towards this character specifically. It's not his first appearance, I know, but the market says this is the Gambit book to get. I'm going to go reverse order. Fedora, what you think about this, man, for $650?
Yeah, it's a good book, mainly because that's like the millennial collector's book.
Oh, okay.
He's a pretty popular character for like a lot of the people my age and a little younger.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of us are older now, and a lot of the kids that I guess that were around my age that remember the X-Men the animated series. Gambit is kind of like their favorite guy. So with the revival of X-Men the animated series, they're doing like a lot of like revitalizing of X-Men 97. So I think that this is good, and it'll probably peak back up once the animated series. I know that they're reprinting the manga that they did in the 90s based off of the X-Men the animated series. So they're reprinting the manga. The show's coming back out. So you should probably get it, because I think the price is a very rare occurrence where, in my opinion, I believe the price will like go back up. So
for sure,
if you can get it.
What?
First, fuck off, and now give me your opinion about the book.
Yeah, I would buy it, but me personally, if I was given the $650 for selling the other books, I would probably split it and see if I could find a raw copy of this in high grade, because I could also get a Swamp Thing 37 raw and combine them both.
Okay, well, Jason with the curveball.
Dang,
I like that. Okay.
Well, only because like I could probably find a raw newsstand, just because I do prefer the newsstand cover in this to the direct.
Okay.
I could probably find a raw newsstand and a raw new, or even like, shoot, I've seen like decent fixer uppers of Swamp Thing 37 at like an 8.590 go for $350 or less, $250, something like that. So
yeah,
you could get something like that, crack it, and see if you can clean it up a little bit. Like, make sure you actually go to whatever company it is and check to see what the defects are, because like you can usually clean up like light creases or light spine ticks or blah 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 and this and that. But if it's just like, yo, it's like got some crap on it right there that won't come off, or it's like missing something, then you don't want it.
Yeah. And Southpaw, what are your thoughts on this?
For a character that has a pink leotard with a trench coat and a headband, Gambit is pretty cool. I think I had a newsstand, but I actually bought it off the rack, and I think I sold it for like $40 30 years ago.
Brad,
That's not
Brad
bad,
was
actually.
like-
Honestly, that's
Brad
not
was
bad.
like, "Yo, I killed him. I got it. I beat him over the head."
Well, because I'm looking at, that's the facsimile in the picture. So
Yeah.
I was looking to see what the I don't even remember what the cover price was, but I don't know, $1.25 or something maybe.
Sure.
But for what I paid, I felt good about it. So,
Mhm.
and if you factor in,
Brad,
yes.
if you knew it was gonna cost a grip and some change 20 years later, would you have sold it?
I don't know, man, because I mean, to have it sit for 30 years,
Yeah. Mhm.
That's the thing. I think that's one of the things that led to this conversation is thinking about, all right, you got long boxes or short boxes sitting around that if you're a collector, I buy stuff. I've got stuff on my pull list that I read. I read comics. So I would consider myself a collector. I've sold very few comics. I'm not really like in the business of comics, but so if you want, I actually agree with E2 comic collector. If you want this, if this is like a nostalgia pick for you, then I would probably get it. But investment would be kind of tough because we don't know. I mean, they could come out and decide that Gambit's going to be a female character when they make an appearance, and you could have a Taskmaster thing all over again. You just never know.
You never know. Mhm.
So I think for a personal collection, I think it's a good, but I don't know. And how long do you have to sit on it to gain, for it to get back? It could easily get back to 1,000, but how long?
Yeah.
So
And
you might be tying your money up again. So,
and like, I guess the other thing too is this was really a really hard slideshow to come up with because I was picking between this and I just Matrix Comics is in the building, everyone. I almost picked their Evil Ernie 9.8 #1, but the reason I didn't pick it was it's very like for me it's not so much nostalgia. Just it kind of reminds me of a time back when I used to read comics at a younger age, but like it's that was very niche kind of like collectors, right? However, this book is more, it spoke more to me. I'd rather have this than the other 3 previous comic books. So that was kind of my determination, but good stuff, guys. And Jason, throwing the curveball, man. You're always testing me.
He's savvy, man. Jason is
He's
savvy.
always testing me.
Savvy collector.
He's always testing me, man.
Just trying to stretch what you're giving me.
Oh, okay. Right. This is kind of probably a tough one for a lot of people, especially if you bought the 2 on the left at the peak. Bloodstone #1. I thought I didn't really want to sell this off just thinking about it, but lo and behold, you can get 375 for this and 9.8, which I think is still pretty healthy. Invincible Iron Man #9. I saw this just sell for 9.8 for $600. That was a $5,000 book back in the day. And I'm not buying these on the dip, by the way, everyone. And then Captain Marvel 17-second print 9.8 went for 900. I remember, oh gosh, what's his name? I forgot, but he sold 2 of these for like $5K. I just like making out like a bandit. Fedora, I know you like Bloodstone. I know. I'm gonna ask each one of you about one particular comic, and then we'll go to the next slide. Fedora, Bloodstone, 375. Would you hold this for another 5 years, or are you selling this today?
Well, somebody gifted me a 9.6, so shout outs.
Dang.
All right.
Yeah, it was a 9.6.
Wow.
I'm gonna keep it forever just because I like the character. Because I'm like a big fan of like those like street level characters, and also because she's kind of like a street level mysticism character, like a magical character. Because there's obviously like the top tier. You got your Doctor Stranges, you got your Scarlet Witches,
right?
And then there's like the street level of like those guys, which is like Ghost Rider, Bloodstone, Blade, and stuff like that. So there's something about the street level people that I really like, and obviously this book will never ever ever go back to where it was. Well, I'm not gonna say never. It's possible, but highly improbable. You know, so I mean, I like the character personally. Will I pay $300 for a 9.8? Probably not.
275.
Like 375?
Mm-hmm.
Probably not.
All right.
Not.
Brad,
I'm
gonna
looking
go to you.
Fedora. I'm looking at that cover and I see what you like about it.
It's a cool cover.
Well,
Just kidding.
This is coming from the guy
It's
who was at work looking through like back issues on his lunch break and saw a Dave Stevens book and was
For
like, "Oh, this is a
$2.
nice cover," and bought it. Didn't even know anything about the
Had
artist.
no idea.
Didn't know anything. And I was like, "Oh,
There's-
this looks cool."
Like
Yeah.
like the Lords of the Long Box always say, there's gold up in them hills, man. Especially I guess in Midtown there is, or wherever you work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you've got Amazon Prime, check out that Dave Stevens documentary, man. It is awesome.
Oh, and then a customer the other day, yo, you like Dave Stevens, right? Because I was talking to another customer about that, because he was like, "Oh yeah, Dave Stevens is on the come up," and I was like, "Yo, man, like I found a Dave Stevens book in the back issues months ago, like a year ago, when nobody was talking about him, and I bought it because I liked the cover and it was near mint." And then a customer interrupted, and he's like, "Yo, if you like Dave Stevens, I have an art book that I'll just give to you. I'm cleaning out my closet." And he was just like, "You have to promise me one thing though. Please do not sell this or try and flip it." And then he's just like, "If you're gonna do anything, just give it to somebody else that's gonna keep it." And you know the disclaimer: I do not sell books. I do not flip books. So I was like, "Bro, yeah." And he gave me out of print Dave Stevens art book from like back in the day. So yeah, shout out to his name is Ben, so we call him Uncle Ben. So shout out to him. He's not really an internet guy, so he won't see this. But
That's
yeah,
dope.
yeah. But yeah. So back to Ferd. I just wanted to highlight that.
Nice. Yeah, the gold up in the hills in Midtown. Brad, Captain Marvel's second print. What'd you think about this?
It's, you know, the saving grace for a lot of these purchases that we're talking about is free money. Because a lot of people bought stuff with the free money that the government gave us to distract us from the fact that the world was shutting down.
Mm-hmm.
But not $5,000. I didn't get $5,000. I mean, somebody took a big hit on that. It's, you know, you just can't. Something we talk about on a little plug for Sunset to South, which we will get back to it in 2024 at some point.
Yeah.
Something I've shared on our segment there is they talk about that in real estate and in mortgage lending, those years as the pandemic years as like the unicorn years. It's almost like take that segment out and remove that from the timeline and then look at collectibles, because it's not fair to put that expectation on anything really. You know, just take that segment out and don't even consider what it went for then, because that's an anomaly. That's a unicorn. It's not, I wouldn't be shocked if anything hit that again, because we were bored out of our minds and we had free money and we were making bad decisions a lot of times.
Right.
I feel bad for the person who pulled the trigger on that. You know, it's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah.
They're probably on those YouTube channels. Like the same thing happened. Is it the same thing with the Pokemon card community too? Like they were pumping these Japanese cards because they had like an excess of them in their backlog, and then they were like, "Yo, if I could get people to buy this, you know, like I could win." So you got all these YouTubers that don't know anything about comics pumping like these books. What the hell?
Yeah.
Then they got these like YouTubers that don't know shit telling people who don't know shit why they should buy shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the first meetup of fucking I don't know, Iron Man and fucking Black Panther, and that's just going for $700. And I'm like, what? And it's the same thing with like, you know, a lot of the hobby collecting communities, like retro video games that were like $5 going for like 200. And I'm just like sitting here like, yo, bro, like Parasite Eve is a $20 game 6 months ago. Now it's $100. You know, whatever.
Oh, Jason, Invincible Iron Man. I was with you when I was looking at this stupid book in 9.4 for 600, and I almost did it. Thank God I didn't. What are your thoughts on that book?
Yeah, I mean, it was never really anything that was on my. I mean, granted, when it was blowing up, I didn't really look at it all that much just because it was so high in price.
Mm-hmm.
I did like the covers. For as simplistic as it is, it's kind of cool. It's a lot of vibrant colors and stuff like that, but it would be more of a cover buy for me. And even at 600, I'm like, no.
Yeah, I'm so glad. Oh man, I would have got my ass kicked on that. But regardless, today, if you do have these books and you did have a loss, you still have $2,000 in your pocket, which is still pretty good. You know, from the highs and all that.
Not if you bought it for $5K. You wilding first.
Well, I mean, like, here's the thing. Here's the point I'm trying to make here with these slides is like there's still cash. You can still liquidate these comic books. Take a loss.
You're right.
You know what I mean? Right. So that's
right.
actually still quite with all the stuff that's going on in the, you know, with the chat talking about, which is the chat's on fire right now. You know, there's still cash to be like kind of used. And if you still want to put it into something that's worth $18.75, this was kind of a tough one for me. I was kind of iffy on this one, but I like this. ASM 252 newsstand 9.8 went for around $1,800. I think that's respectable. I think this is a better investment than Secret Wars number 8. Obviously the newsstand thing. I know Fedora's not a huge fan of newsstand, but the market is what the market is. If you and the whole thing too.
You're being lied to.
Well, the market's not. I mean, Invincible Iron Man number 9 at 9.8 for $5,000. That's just ridiculous. But the other thing I wanted to specify about this list is I'd rather use all of the trash that I'm getting rid of or just less expensive stuff and get it into more high quality investments. ASM 252 first black costume. I know it's not my first true character, so that's why I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to use this, but the market likes this book because it spawns the first of many characters, specifically Venom. Anyway, next slide. These ones were kind of hard for me to be like, I want to sell these now. But here's the other thing too about this list. I picked up my second beat up card for $25. Nice. I like it. You can always rebuy these books if you feel like, oh, I don't know if I want to, like, whatever. But for the purposes of the show, I got NYX3 9.8 going for 900 this past week, which I thought was crazy. A Ronin, Last Ronin number 1, the metal version, Aaron Bartling variant, not autographed, went for 1,400 this past week. It's a modern Marvel, as I guess is what you call it, but it's still a modern comic book. UF4 number 1, UF4 9.8 went for $1,000, here and there. It's still pretty liquid. Obviously, these are not the highs for these books. I think the closest to the high is probably that Ronin metal one. So that was kind of an iffy for me. But if you can get $3,000 for these 3 books in this economy, man, that's not bad, in my opinion. I'm going to go the middle here. Pickles, did you ever read the Last Ronin series? And did you like this book? I love that cover.
I dig the cover, yes. I did not read any of the Ronin books, though, no.
Story's pretty tight, man, like Fedora said in the past. Fedora NYX3, what are your thoughts on that book, man?
Oh, yeah, buy that. If you could get it on the dip, buy that. That's I think out of all the books that I feel like are gonna go, I'll put this book over Gambit, in my opinion. I just feel like Wolverine is such a strong character, and they're definitely gonna use her in the whatever X-Men universe.
She might be coming sooner than you think too, right? She might show up in Deadpool. Who knows?
Yeah, she might show up in Deadpool 3. Sabretooth is showing up in Deadpool 3. You know, like, so in my opinion, I think, you know, Hulk 181 is so far out of reach. And I feel like now that they're going to give Laura Kinney the rub that, you know, she rightfully deserves as like a character. And I think that that's, you know, that Logan movie, people are going to go back and they're going to watch that and they're going to realize like, man, like this was such a good movie and Laura Kinney's such a good character. And, you know, so I think that that's the book. As far as Last Ronin, I mean, unless you're buying like a crazy variant, I don't really. I will say that the Last Ronin book, the trade, every time we get it in, we get like maybe like 20 copies. It sells out. Like in 3 to 4 days, it's completely sold out. That's like the easiest book to sell. Like when somebody walks into the shop, oh, I don't really know anything about comics, yada yada yada. You got any recommendations? You like Ninja Turtles? Yeah. And you tell them about Last Ronin. 90% of the time, they walk out with that book. And then when they finish with it, they come back for the Lost Years, and then they buy that too. So I would say that the Last Ronin is the most bought trade at my shop. We can't keep it on the shelves for more than like 3 to 4 days. So take that for what you will. The game is coming out. They'll probably do an animated show. They canceled the IDW series. It's ending at 151, and then they're starting with Jason and Aaron. And they're going to focus all their attention on this new Turtleverse that they got going. Like, that's where all their focus is going. So I would say that that's not a bad investment if you were going to buy the Last Ronin.
No, we're selling it. We're selling it. We're selling it. We're selling these 3. We're not buying them. We're not. So you wouldn't sell them.
Oh, we're not buying it. We're selling it.
Homie, like, are you listening to the show, dude?
Sorry. Sell these 3.
So these 3, I just want to know what your opinion is about
I wouldn't sell either of them. I'm not selling none of them. That's crazy. You're selling these? That's crazy.
Yeah.
I got long. If you could buy them right now, buy them right now. If you could sell them right now, do not.
So the purpose of the show was like people that may have bought these for like 2K or 3K or whatever, and it's not. You can always rebuy these books, like I said in the previous slide, right?
Mm-hmm.
So depending on your buy-in, we're selling these to get a better book. And I'm not saying sell these, like absolutely do sell these. But when I'm saying the current market, and you're kind of like, man, I don't know if I could get this back up to 2K that I paid for it, but I can get 900 and take some cash from that and go into the next one. That's the point of the show. But
Last Ronin will definitely get you there.
Yeah, so these 3, again, these were tough ones for me to make a call on because they're quote unquote modern spec, but for 10 to 15 years, I don't see it going up versus the next one we're going to talk about. And I want Brad to touch up on the next one. Submariner in a 9.6 for $3,000. Like, that's Silver Age. It's an older book. That's a pretty high grade for a Silver Age. Brad, would you trade those 3? Because you can always buy back into those 3 books. It may take a long time for those books to get back to, or if even close to that peak. So, and I just think at a Silver Age 9.6 for a key comic book, I know it's on the first appearance because that's impossible. That's a pretty good deal for $3,000. What do you think, Brad?
Yeah, what was the high on this? I'm even wondering if a lower grade might be. I might go a slightly like a 9.4 and pull a Pickles and get something else on top of this.
I couldn't find a 9.4, but I was trying to find that via the video that we were watching earlier. But yeah, I just couldn't find either. It was tougher to find data on like Silver Age books, right? Because like, there's not a lot of 9s, period. But 9.6, 35 bids on this book. I mean, I thought it was a great deal for a Silver Age book that's probably going to grow in value over the next few years or whatnot. So, yeah, I don't know. And James, I mean, that's kind of it's kind of the point I was trying to make. I was looking for Bronze Age actually as well. That's not really a key. It's a first. I mean, I feel like it's a key. It's a Silver Age Submariner #1. It's a lot older than those 3 previous books, but teach his own. And I think Silver is always going to have a longer term kind of or it's going to be a better investment than Modern. It just is. You can't go against the age of these books.
I mean, just based on age, you would think it would be a tough 9.6. The more these grading is relatively new. That book was around for forever before grading was ever a thing.
Yeah. And I did so the previous 3, like Fedora was saying, yeah, I mean, I didn't really want to sell these books, man. I like NYX. I got it at a pretty good price. I didn't have that much room to grow from my investment, quote unquote. I don't know what's going to push TMNT #1 or the Last Ronin #1 metal past 1400, and it's just going to kind of stay there. I think true collectors are going to want a #4 second print versus this book, and it's kind of artificial demand because it was only 50 made or 100 made, and then UF4 I don't know, man. I've kind of gone back and forth with the upside of UF4 first print. I think there's more upside with the second print, honestly. And 1,000, it just may stay there for a while. I just don't know. It's going to take some time for that to go past $1,000 again, in my opinion, just from what I've seen. And I'll say this: the Miles movie last year was the 6th highest grossing movie of 2023. So whether that be just not a lot of people are going to the movie theaters to watch Miles, or there's not enough knowledge about Miles yet, I don't know. I think that really, to me as an investor or just kind of looking at spec and prices, I just don't think. I think it's not there yet. It's going to take more time. Albeit, the video game is awesome too. It's just kind of the data from what I've seen. So.
I think it's just a thing where people are just jaded by going to the movies because movies are too expensive. You gotta in New York City, it's $25 for a ticket. So imagine going to a kids movie. You gotta bring, your kid, and some of the family members. That's $100 and something on movie tickets alone. Then you gotta get the food, which the concession stand in New York City is crazy, bro. It's $12 for a small popcorn. And I'm yo, my guy, I paid fucking $25 to get in here. So I don't know, there's a lot going on with the movie industry, especially with family movies. If I'm going to a movie by myself, right? Whatever. But I feel family movies, Into the Spider-Verse is a lot harder because if you're a family and you got 3 kids, and you got to pay for popcorn and you got to make it a whole experience. It's why do that? I could just stay home, So I feel the Miles movie, with all of that working against it, still managed to do something good. That's how you see all these Disney family movies flopping because nobody wants to pay freaking $100 and something just to see a fucking Pinocchio. Who wants to see that, bro? My kid don't want to see that. He want to see Miles wilding out on people and shit.
I think so. Not to be argumentative, but the counter to that, Barbie made 1.1 billion, and I saw a lot of families go see Barbie.
But so that's more of an adult. That's kind of more like an adult. That's a movie for everyone, So I could kind of see why that and Barbie's never been on the big screen, So I mean, that's for kids.
So here's another. So I forgot Mario was #2. I mean, that's kind of a and I'm not trying to say oh, you're wrong, but I was shocked that people didn't go see Miles #2 because I thought it was an excellent movie at the movie theater.
For sure.
So
for sure.
And I think it has to do with what it has to do with is it's not as mainstream as I think we all think it is. because we're comic book collectors. Jason,
I think Marvel and its subsidiaries do a better job at keeping it in the theaters longer, if that makes any sense, because you don't ever see, like, even the Marvels, it just became available streaming, and like even before that it wasn't even available to watch at home until a few weeks prior to its release. So it's like they force you to go see it in the theaters, where it's like all these other movies and stuff like that, it's available to watch at home like 2 weeks after it's in the theater, $20 and just watch it at home. Granted, you're just renting it, you're not owning it, but like I think a lot of people are just like, screw it, I can wait a couple of weeks, watch that bitch at home for $20 instead of taking the whole family for like $100 to the theater, you know?
Yeah, and it was
like Marvel's usually like I said, they don't really do that. You don't see their movies there and then at home immediately. It's like they give you like 5-6 months in between.
Yeah, and I was really just shocked that, I mean, it was number 5 or 6 of like 2023 most grossing like films. Like, how did people not want to go see it at the movie theater? I mean, I was
you
just
got to
really
think
shocked
about the other movies that came out too. You had the new Mission Impossible. You had Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer did better than, it was number 2.
You had Barbie. Like, there was a lot of these movies that were like basically killing the box office. So I think if those movies, if a few of those hadn't have come out, I feel like Spider-Verse would have been a little bit higher on the list. But I think that's kind of what killed it. There's a lot of big movies that people went and saw this year.
And then there's a lot of first-time movies too, like Mario on the big screen for the first time, where it's like I already saw the first movie. I already saw Miles Morales.
That might be a sequel. That might be the reason too. Yeah. I mean, if anything, man, like that was my favorite movie of 2023. I was just really shocked. I mean, obviously I'm biased, right? But I haven't even seen Mario. But then, like, I think younger generations just would rather see Mario. I don't know.
This is the first time on the big screen. Like, it's the first time in an animated movie. Like, not first time on the big screen, because obviously you got the Bob Hoskins movie, but that was 30 years ago. But this is like, even like Sonic, you know what I'm saying? Like, Sonic was a first-time movie that did pretty well. Mario is a first-time movie that did pretty well. Barbie is a first-time movie that did pretty well. So it's the Marvel movies are like a specific niche where it's like everybody knows Barbie. She's girl.
And Mario.
Yeah, and Mario.
Yeah.
So
cool, good stuff, man. I mean, like, I know we don't always like agree or just kind of like differentiating like, viewpoints, right? But that's something, Brad, that like I learned from that video I was watching is like collectors, they just assume that, well, if I like this, then everyone else around me should like it. And that's kind of what I learned from kind of these slideshows and that show. I mean, do you agree with that too? Like,
sure. Yeah. That's thinking, just assuming that what I like, everybody else is going to like. And one of the most interesting things about watching that guy, and like I said, I didn't agree with everything he said. I mean, he owns a Hulk 181, but he recommends selling a Hulk 181 because there's too many of them. So, I don't know. I mean, that's, he said there's a lot less of first appearance of Doctor Strange. Well, Wolverine's also a lot more popular character than Doctor Strange is. So maybe that's the reason for there being more on the census. You don't want to, every book is not CGC worthy. In this era. So but just the longevity, like how many collectors are, it's a lot of the same stuff you've been talking about, you guys have been talking about on Sundays. Like who is it all people just like us who are collecting comics?
Are we selling to each other? Right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And is the timeline limited? It is important to get people, somebody said, I was watching a show and somebody said, oh my gosh, why are they doing another Power Pack comic? I'm like, maybe they're trying to doing what they can to reach another generation. Like maybe they need to do an animated Power Pack on Disney Plus or something, do something to get people involved, get people involved. But like what, like I want to know what, with all these collectibles, a lot of different collectibles, I'm intrigued to know what the collector base looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the average age of this collector base? Because I can't imagine kids aren't, every day somebody passes away who thinks collecting stamps is cool, but I don't think they're adding any people into that, into that collecting base.
I can never, unless it's like 1855, like something, but I've never even thought of collecting a stamp. But coins are still kind of like collectible, like, or like, because there's an asset behind it, right? There's the gold or the silver in it, and there's like history behind it. Stamps is like, yeah, it's a dying breed. I don't know if comics will ever fall into that same category, because kids still read comic books. I mean, obviously with Fedora talking about it and Cassie talking about it as well, it makes sense.
I heard another one. I mean, if you could go back in a time machine and go back to the time when Lionel trains were popular. I mean, I know people still collect that stuff, but where are they? Like,
I don't even know. I don't even see train toy shops anymore. Like, it's not it's very, very niche.
Like an old school hobby shop.
Yeah.
Wait, that's a thing, collecting trains?
It was when I was a kid.
Yeah, entire basement setups with like all the like hills and their own little shops and everything.
Yeah, you put stuff in and put it out. Yeah.
That's wild.
Around Christmas, I went to a hotel in Charleston, South Carolina, and they had their lobby was set up. It had a gigantic Christmas tree and this train set with all these little trolley cars and trains, and it was really cool. And you appreciate the time and effort it took to put it together. But I don't know.
Well, Bird, you remember Billy McHale's?
Yeah.
Remember that train that they used to have on top in the bar area?
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah. They're gone. That tells you about trains. They're gone. Right?
I think it's like Buffalo Wild Wings now or something.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I bet they're busy today. We're about an hour, 10 minutes into the show. Dropped in numbers a little bit. We'll try and keep this show going so people don't leave us and all that stuff. But yeah, I just want to thank everyone for the chats. Not too crazy. All good points everyone's making, and just different perspectives, which is why we do the show. And I want to thank you guys for coming and joining us as well. And this was kind of a tough show to kind of talk about, but call it a reality check too, and perspective as well. But yeah, so Fedora, you're kind of my inspiration for this sell. This is the prices if you're looking to sell these books. And these Star Wars books held up okay. Like, they didn't drop too much versus the other sets of comic books here. The next few slides, I'll caution everyone, like, these are ones you don't necessarily like, oh, I'd get rid of these like ASAP. But like, these are just the prices they're going for, and just alternatives to get all that money into one product or one key or whatever. So Star Wars, Clone Wars variant, first appearance of Ahsoka. That is a Dark Horse book, but I think Fedora can agree with this. That's probably the only Dark Horse book that he wants to get. Maybe Star Wars Heir of the Empire, first appearance of Thrawn, 950, which I think is which hasn't fallen too bad. So like, if all you Thrawn enthusiasts, that's where that book's at. And then Star Wars #1, the 9.8, $3,000 for the newsstand version. So you did sell these books today and net you around $7,000. I'm not taking into account fees and all that stuff, but so I'll start with Brad, man. Are you a big Star Wars collector with comics?
I was a huge fan, being alive when it came out. Like, I had to have the authentic poster. I had a vinyl of the Star Wars intro, like the actual. So it was huge. I mean, I wish I could transport you back to have the feeling of, or maybe you have your own thing like this, but the feeling of like sitting in that theater as a 8-year-old kid, and that the credits start going like that, and it just like it was just like undescribable almost. So that one, that #1 there hurts a little bit just because of that. That's that nostalgia thing, the thing I can't unfeel. That one means something. So I don't collect a ton now because there's just too much going on. I can't keep up with it.
Yeah.
But I do have that a special place in my heart because it was such a big deal.
I know. Yeah, and like Star Wars, that was the first sci-fi that I really like enjoyed. Minus the toys, because I was a little too young, or the toys passed me, except for the Power of the Force stuff. But Jason, we never really like did Star Wars like as like homies or anything like that. But did you play the video games? And were you after the Star Wars Heir of the Empire book?
Did I play? I'm still playing the video games.
I mean, like the older ones,
in the middle
like
of Jedi Survivor right now.
the impossible Star Wars Jedi, like when you have to top to each freaking thing to get to the pit.
Oh yeah,
I fucking hate that game. Anyway,
remember they had that the arcade game, the little shooter, like you'd have to flying in on the Death Star, but it was like that kind of like weird graphic style or whatever, where it was just like I don't even know how to describe it. It was like DOS screen essentially, but it was like just the green lines, and you had to be like pew pew and shoot it through that fucking thing. You're like, God damn it, this is hard.
2 minutes later, you got another quarter.
Yeah.
Did you have the Heir to the Empire book?
No. I had a copy of the Clone Wars.
Oh, really?
Not this one, but
oh shit! I was like, whoa.
No,
yeah. That was bookshop like $8K back in the. I know we're referencing the pandemic, but like it's just that's what we do. Yeah, that was stupid money, man. Like $8,000 for that Star Wars Clone Wars variant, 9.8. I know there's only like 1,000 copies out there, but like that's stupid.
I mean, like out of all three of these, the one I would probably keep just for like my own thing would be the Star Wars one. Like I'm good with the other two selling those.
I would probably keep Heir to the Empire because I read the books when I was a kid, and that Star Wars, there's so many different variants of it that I would just want a 9.8 that's like $100 that looks like that one, but that doesn't really like hit me. I don't know. Fedora, last but not least, that Star Wars Dark Horse Clone Wars. Do you think that's worth it? And then like 3,000, man, that's a pretty good sell.
I think it depends, like, because there's people that collect Star Wars. Because, like the Star Wars market is weird because there's a lot of people that go crazy for that, and the prices are so high. It's just because there's like a solid fan base, and those are like Star Wars collectors, right? So if you're a Star Wars collector, then it might be worth it for you to hold to sell to other Star Wars collectors. But if you're like a speculator, like that's just like, yo, like I want to hold this to get the most value out of it. I don't know, like the Dark Horse stuff is like, I don't know, like it like we never see those characters, and Star Wars is always introducing new characters in the comics. Like that's why speculating or doing FOCs on Star Wars books is like whatever, because we know that there's like a new appearance every other month. So it's like
it's baby spec.
Yeah, like I mean, I could blindfold myself and throw a dart on a calendar, and I'll land on a random month, and that issue that comes out that month is most likely going to have a first appearance. So, and then there's to factor in, you have so many first appearances, which character is actually going to make it into the universe. So it like into the TV series, into the movie, into all that stuff. There's like so much to factor in. And then you got all of the characters that came out 20 years ago that was created by some rando by Dark Horse, you know? And then it's like, is that gonna come in to play at some point? Like even Dr. Aphra, she's like the most over new character, and she hasn't even made her first appearance in the series yet. And she may or may not, she could come next year. 5 years.
I should have put her in this list.
Like, yeah, she could come 10 years from now. You don't know. So it's like,
I got shit on because I sold my Dr. Aphra 9.8 La Roca variant for $1,400 on eBay or something, and so many people shit on me.
Huh? How long ago was that?
That was like November of last year, or like October. And
is she in the show? Is she in the show, you mooks? Is she in the show? Like, come on, guy. Like,
and the book's going for like 900, 850 maybe. but ridiculous. Anyway, so it's straight up pumping up. Yeah, I think the new Star Wars pumping the new characters is pumping up. So Fedora, this Clone Wars is the first appearance of Ahsoka, and so I said Fedora, all three of you guys. So the reason I picked these guys is like the spec is like it's the speculation is confirmed. And these books are still kind of held like their value, right? So I don't really see anything like pumping these up past whatever. And then the Star Wars #1 newsstand, I just always thought that was like an overpriced book because we all know that the movie came out way before the comic book came out. So it's just always just been kind of a thing, right?
There's a Star Wars movie?
This is why I okay, the show's over. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Just kidding. What's up, D. Percy? Marvel's releases way too many. Yes, agreed. And Bobby Catalano, thanks for coming through. But with that said, I don't know if you guys will like this next one, but what the fuck? Hold on. God damn it.
Oh boy.
Oh shit. Okay, here.
You want me to buy that Dr. Doom?
God
Is that from like an anarchist
Is that what I'm buying?
podcast that you're doing or something?
No, God damn it.
Hey, if you mix WD-40 and fire, it'll make a
yeah.
Hold on.
This is what you combine together.
God damn it. Fuck. Okay, hold on. This is the book.
One of those Pacific Northwestern sleeper cells or something, man. I don't know what this guy's doing.
What the hell is it?
Yo, Matrix Comics is famous, bro. Shout out to Matrix Comics. If he's still here, he put me on to the Faust. I bought that hardcover, and you already know. If you know, you know. If you know, you know.
Oh,
shout out to Matrix. Go check out his little while Ferd fixes. I'm gonna plug Matrix Comics.
Hell yeah.
Go check out his little he got a little section on Key Collector dedicated to the man, the myth, the legend, Matrix. You see? MMM. See? Man, myth, legend, Matrix. See, so shout him out.
So apologies, everyone. This was the book that I found it was actually $7,000, not autographed, and 2.0. But if you could take those 3 Star Wars books and get an Uncanny X-Men in 2.0, would you guys do it? I would 100% all day, right? That hits spec, that hits silver, 2.0 is not the greatest grade, right? But I mean, X-Men.
You get a first X-Men in any grade?
First X-Men, man, like 2.0, $7,000 for those 3 other books. I mean, that's the key, that's the hit right there. I thought that was like a perfect kind of flip, quote unquote. Brad, what's the closest Uncanny X-Men, like lowest numbered book you have?
I might have now this thing is beat. It is beat.
Oh shit.
What is that?
First Sentinels?
First Sentinels, man. See, man, that's
number 14.
That's cool, man.
My man bought it off the rack when he was a kid.
If the cover wasn't I traded some kid for this when I was in like elementary school.
Oh,
that's so awesome, dude.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, he's probably still talking about me taking him to the woodshed on that trade.
I like that. Commander Cody with number 4. I like that.
Dang, one upper.
Pickles would have.
Cody's a one upper, man.
Yeah, he
with
totally
his
is.
Comic book ceiling in his bedroom.
Yeah, seriously, jealous of that guy.
I think we have the first appearance of Juggernaut in the at the shop.
I think Jason has that too, right?
What?
First appearance of Juggernaut?
No, I have that same one that he has.
Is that the lowest numbered X-Men you have?
7.0, dude. That's killer, man. That's awesome.
Oh, Jason with the freaking.
Yeah, if my cover wasn't taped on, I don't think it would be on. I mean, I think that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Yeah, it's got my copy has slight restoration though. They apparently they trimmed like a fraction of the edge. Like it's the highest grade restoration you can get, like as far as what I was looking at.
Really?
Yeah. Because it was like very minimal.
Is what?
It was very minimal, like restore or touch up or whatever the hell they did to the book. I don't know.
Gotcha. And then, the next slide here. Hold on a second. Sorry.
No, is this the Bic lighter in the WD-40, or is this something else?
That's coming. That's coming. You'll see. So this is kind of like modern spec. I kind of like the art cover and like Dr. Doom's coming. I thought this was my favorite Dr. Doom cover. If you were to sell Black Panther, Ultimate Black Panther, #1, Ultimate Spider-Man, and the Avengers, was it Infinity or like Avengers Twilight. #1, you get about $110. You can get this book for $90. And then have $25 to buy yourself a Big Mac. I don't know, whatever. And again, this is just like flipping modern spec. I don't know. Flipping modern spec and getting like a high ratio book.
This Arthur Adams?
It's Art Adams, yeah. It's not a booby cover though. So
no. The thing with Art Adams is he should draw more guys because they look different.
I think it's a great Art Adams cover. Are you guys on the hunt for this book? $90. $90.
Dr. Doom's my favorite. He's my favorite villain. So I would be interested. And I do have kind of like a running list of cool Dr. Doom covers that I kind of keep an eye out for just because just as a collector of him as a villain. So yeah, this one's very, very nice. Those
a Galactus and a Venom one that was really good.
Some of those Secret Wars variants.
Cool, yeah.
The Secret Wars variants were they've got a few of those too that were really neat.
Right. Yeah. I don't know how I just came about this, but I was like, oh, cool, that's kind of cool. The Dr. Doom cover is a hard pass.
I feel like his art style's changed since when he first came out too, because like I used to love his art on Long Shot, and this is like almost completely different. Like his Long Shot stuff was almost like McFarlane like.
Oh yeah,
style
you're right.
And color of it.
I wonder what the first Art Adams cover goes for. I don't know.
Or what it even was.
What's that?
Like what was his first cover?
I don't know. He's pretty old dude, so he's been around the block. And then this is FOC TP. My Little Pony, you all know about this #14 variant. I put -$15 because you basically have to pay to do. Hey, what's up, Wade? What's going on, Wade? And then Star Wars 34, the first appearance of something and cameo, blah blah blah. Captain Carter #1. You all know how I feel about that book. And then Fedora's favorite Black Panther appearance, Tosin. So you have probably like about $5, after selling all of these. So this is what I think you should do because,
$5 doll hairs.
You buy a lighter, which is about $4.99, his WD-40, protein pack, and then, just unalive yourself because that's basically what you just did, buying all those books. What do you guys think about that flip?
Yo, I remember some
it's all making sense.
Whatnot for $1,200, bro. And this dude was acting like he won the Super Bowl or the Stanley Cup or some shit. And bro, like that was crazy.
Where'd he stick his head? Where'd he stick his head, do you think?
He should throw himself off of this into the Hudson River, bro.
He just missed the fucking...
Yeah, bro.
He just missed it.
Yeah, bro. That's crazy, bro. Like, I don't even want to talk about this. I mean,
Pickles. What do you think about those? He lit the camera. It's like
jump off. See ya.
That's good. That's going to come into play a lot more in the future. I've got a feeling that the revelation of the camera flip. And thanks to Michael Baker for dropping some knowledge there. Long Shot 1 was our cover.
Thank you very much.
Wasn't that the first appearance of Mojo?
Mojo was Long Shot 3, I believe.
Yeah, because that stupid spec, that damn spec like popped up, and I remember like, why am I buying this book? Wait, Alex Ross is never. What, did I put an Alex Ross cover up there?
Did he do?
Oh yeah, because it was that Tosin book. Yeah.
Did
Good point.
Art Adams? Did he do all the covers for Long Shot or just that one?
I don't know.
Because if you could, because what Art Adams becoming popular, if you could get an early Art Adams cover with a first appearance, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah. I wonder what the most expensive Art Adams like titty cover is. Like, honestly, I don't know.
They all got same face syndrome.
Percy was talking smack about Discord about launch on the Discord. I meant to put these as like put your money into these books, but like I just didn't and I got lazy. But I know Jason, man, like Jason, this is like for you, dude. Actually both these are kind of for you, but if you saw these prices and just like fuck, I'm like pissed, like sell them and get this book for $1,000 in 6.0. I think the other thing, Brad, that I got from that show was we're all trying to get 9.8s, 9.6s, whatever. But if you can still find value in these older books and not as high a grades, because it's just impossible, man. Like I'm not going to put 10 grand into a 9.8 in this book, but I'll sure as hell pay like $800 to $1,000 at 6.0. What did you think about that analysis of the show?
I was very intrigued by that, and also like how do you determine that? Are you just looking at like go down the list and see, okay, 9.8s are going for this, a 6.0 is going for this, and what's the sweet spot? I mean, is that?
Yeah.
I'm curious how you determine that. Is it just? I mean, I could probably do it on gut feeling, but and kind of figure out what the sweet spot is. But I mean, honestly, with a lot of modern books, it looks like the sweet spot's the difference in price between a 9.6 and a 9.8 because there's so many 9.8 or bust collectors out there.
Yeah, it's tough.
You look at oh wait, 9.6 is 600, but 9.8 is
3,000 or something.
Yeah, right. Yeah, something crazy.
Yeah.
2 to 3 times the price difference. So yeah, on these older ones, I kind of did that a little bit yesterday when I sent those slides.
Yeah,
I was looking at that and I'm like, what would a sweet spot for me? And maybe it's personal, maybe it's more of a personal thing.
Yeah. I guess if you're looking at it specifically as like an investment, it's like, okay, I can get a value if I can get 80% less price in a 9.4 versus a 9.8. And it's an older book. It has to be an older book. I'd rather do that. I wouldn't do it on modern because like the market says like whatever. But if you have
he owns House of Secrets, and that's one of the ones he kept bringing up over and over again as a like as what would you rather have? Yeah, and he said he bought one in 2012 for like $1,700, and I don't know the grade, but whatever grade it was, it's I think he's gone up somewhere in the $20,000 range.
Yeah, and that's the way to do it if you're doing
So now what you're looking at is, does that book take another $20,000 jump in 10 years? I mean, it would be hard to say that's possible, but so what's the sweet spot to get you some return? I did it with like cards, and when I was collecting sports cards, I bought like Tim Duncan's best rookie card in a mint 9 instead of forking out the money for. I bought it for $20. I sold one last year for 200 and something, 220.
Yeah, that's the way to do it, man.
Like, there's still a sweet, there's still a sweet spot on these lower grades. So, just kind of like that, but that involves us like shifting our mindset again, and not thinking like, I gotta pay top dollar for the best grade.
Yeah, because you just don't have the money for it.
I think that mindset is overrated. Like sometimes, like a friend of mine who grades my books for me and he presses them for me. Great guy. He does it for free. It's his hobby. He loves it. He loves to do it. So, I mean, I don't flip or sell books. So the grade doesn't matter to me. It's the sentimental value that I have.
Sure.
And we have slabs in at the shop, and a lot of them move regardless of the grade because you know, people who don't know much about comics, they come in, they see a slab, and they're like, oh, you know, this looks cool. I like Spider-Man. This price seems okay to me. This is something that I'm gonna display on my wall. This is what I'm gonna put it in the man cave. I love Spider-Man. So, yeah, like, yeah, I would say that, like, for people like me, and maybe for like some people just wandering into the shop, just wanting to buy something cool to get to somebody, the grade doesn't really matter. And I think that, like, you know, once we just got to be more mindful at just letting people know and letting the community and letting people getting involved in, like, the grade doesn't matter. Like, if you want to get into this collecting thing, if you like a certain character and you like a book, the grade shouldn't matter to you, because there's a lot of people that push this 9/8 narrative, and it's like, bro, like, unless you're trying to make money, the grade shouldn't matter. If it means something to you, buy it. And a lot of what I see are, like, when they come into the shop, is characters that mean something to people, and they want to share that with a relative, or they want to keep it. So that's just my opinion.
No, yeah, all good stuff with the sentimental part, right? I think the other thing I took from the video when investing in comics and whatnot is he made a good point about how there's no real intrinsic value in collectibles. It's all based off of nostalgia and not real concrete data, right? So it's hard to say, yeah, these are 5 to 10 years, like, you know, hold, and like you'll get your 10% a year or what have you, versus like a stock or a bond where there's actual intrinsic data like behind it. What I did get from it was like there is investment value in lower grades if you pick the right comic book. I know Jason has a Green Lantern number 87, which is why I put this up for him. Dude, Jason, if you get 9.0 on that raw book, that's a nice freaking investment versus buying a 9496 in a Green Lantern 87 and putting a lot of money behind it. I think you did pretty well with that raw book.
I didn't get a 9.0.
What'd you get?
I got a 9.2.
Motherfucker.
Whoa.
So Jason, real quick. Okay, so you obviously want 9.8, 9.6, whatever. But how much did you buy that book for?
Shit, I don't know. I'd have to actually like look to.
Okay, like
it was like.
What do you think you got? Like, I'm not gonna.
850, I think, somewhere around there, raw.
So that's a great example of like.
But it was like clean. Like I thought it was like. I was slightly disappointed with the grade because I thought it was going to be a little bit. I didn't think it was going to be a 9.8, but I thought it was definitely like.
Well, let's see what a 9.2 goes for, just for your base of like let's see the value you got out of it. And this is why I think this is an important thing to look at. Let's see here.
I think that House of Secrets for $1,000 for a 6 that seems criminal almost to me.
I know. I was going to say, like, I might pivot I just got outbid today on a ASM 129, like gorgeous copy, like damn near mint, like white pages, like doesn't even look like anybody ever read the friggin' thing.
I can't even find it.
I got outbid today with like 10 hours left or something like that.
So fucking always happens.
Somebody finally topped me, but like I might if I don't know if I'm gonna like try and bid them up a little bit more to see if I can get it. But if I don't, I'll probably pivot over and get a copy of this.
So I can't even find a 9.2 for the, for 950 or whatever. So I think you're doing okay. And like you said, that's a long-term hold for you. We haven't even talked about the spec value of the Green Lantern first appearance there.
It's pretty strong. It's
strong. Very strong, right?
Because a lot of people my age, they only know John Stewart.
Yeah, they don't know the other guys.
Hal Jordan and all that other stuff. So
I'd rather have this 9.2 than UF4 9.8, honestly, because of the age of it. You
can buy one right now for $1,299.
There you go.
On eBay.
Yeah. I think like the 9.6, 9.8s go for like $4,000, some crazy amount because it's a hard 9.8. But man, I still think that's good money to put towards an older book with a stronger first appearance than your Invincible 9 variant
with a
Infinity
lot
cover.
of with a solid fan base of like millennials that grew up with Jon Stewart, with the Justice League Unlimited show. So yeah, I mean, I think you're in a good place, Mr.
Pickles.
Nichols.
Yeah.
So
with comics, everything else you fucking suck at, but yeah.
True.
That's all you gotta say. Anyway. Well, that's the show today. We had some pretty good discussion in the chat. 23 live. We didn't get the 35, so I am to go to eBay and sell my Ultimate Black Panther #1 Boss Logic character. But next week we will have Cassie on. She's gonna come on the show. I did reach out to her, and she's gonna bring a friend with her as well. I think Fedora.
Yeah. Cassie, the two Casses.
Oh, the two Casses. Okay, cool.
It's Cassie and Cassandra.
Cassie and Cassandra. Okay.
Kelsey is her name. Kelsey and Cassandra. So
I want to thank. That's cool. Fedora's gonna try and find some more buildings to jump off of next week.
I'm going to the deli.
He's gonna go to deli. Southpaw, I wanna thank you for coming to the show, and I hate you for sending me those links, but I do appreciate you.
I'll take screenshots of our conversation so all you fine folks can see him cursing me in Instagram chat for sending him something that I thought I was being a good friend by sending him this information, and he just cursed me for all I was worth. So.
Before we wrap that up, what do y'all think of the 12,000 copies of Black Panther falling off the truck?
Oh, Penguin Publishing or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I it's cool news. It's funny. My LCS
I read Ultimate Spider-Man 1, and I'm getting ready to throw mine. Whatever I can get for mine, I'm gonna throw them up and see. I mean, I didn't even pick the best covers. I thought that was gonna be like, that was so funky and like unique. I thought that might be cool. And then I like that one.
I thought that was the best cover.
That's the one.
Yeah,
that's the
with
one.
the kids, The people want the black suit. Like,
it's the smartest one. I don't know.
But listen, I think that kid's gonna bite the bullet.
Oh shit. Okay.
I think so.
If you're gonna chase the black suit, get that black suit.
Oh,
that's the one.
Damn,
that's
bro,
the one
you
that
ain't have to flex so hard.
I
bought. You ain't have to flex.
Bought it right up. That's right off the rack, right there.
Damn, I love it.
That's a young Southpaw Brad buying books as a kid. Like, can you? I mean, imagine seeing that as a kid. And like, whoa, what? Like, Spider-Man's got a black costume. You see that staring on a spinner rack, staring back at you. That's like, holy crap. That was life changing. Or like, somebody else can pick up Thor's hammer. What?
I feel like the life changing.
That's what I want comics to get back to. Like that. Get back to that feeling of we don't need any more mashups. Let's get back to like important stuff, good stories and important characters.
Yeah, that's why I dug this Batman Joker Year One. It was just a really good $4.99 comic book. Good read. I read it twice. It was that good. Zdarsky's on one for sure. But yeah, thanks again, everyone. Hope your teams do well. Don't get too much heartburn. Drink a lot of water before the games today. We'll see you next Sunday. We're out. Go Taylor Swift's boyfriend's team.